Hey everyone, this is Kate Weatherwise, your favorite weather girl, coming to you on Sunday, January 11th, 2026. It is just after 2:30 in the afternoon. Now, this video is for the western United States and more specifically the Pacific Northwest. I will do a little bit more of the rest of the western states, but there's really going to be a lot of activity currently in the Pacific Northwest. And then as we go forward in time, things start to clear out, dry out, but it's still going to be sort of dreary. So let's get right into what is going on currently and the atmospheric river that is poised in the direction of Washington coast. They're getting the brunt of it right now. Thankfully, it's going to be a shorter lived one. And as you'll see here in a moment, the winds aren't directly pointing at Western Washington. They're sort of skirting the coast. So it's not providing that much in the way of moisture as they experienced a couple weeks ago with that major destructive atmospheric river that lasted just over 2 weeks, almost continuously 2 weeks. So let's take a look at the satellite imagery, what I'm looking at, what I'm seeing. As you can see, the clouds are streaming northeastward all the way back from beyond Honolulu, beyond the Hawaiian Islands, all the way up into southeast Alaska, where this low pressure is. And as you can see, the winds aren't pointed directly at the Washington coast. They are sort of skirting alongside, parallel the Washington coast. So that's why they are not getting a deluge of rain. But those snow levels have really, really risen. So you'll see here in a moment, there's no rain falling at any of the passes right now. Snoqualmie Pass is rain, Stevens Pass is rain, Blewett Pass is rain. All the passes are rain right now because the snow levels are up above 5,000 feet, 6,000 feet. So there is the only area where there is a flood watch too is right up in here in the North Sound, almost to the Canadian border, and that is also currently seeing rain. And then if you go over to eastern Washington, you will see, I'm going to take us to the radar, you can see that there is rain in western Washington. There's a little bit of rain up in here too. For some reason, this isn't picking it up, probably because there's a rain shadow from the direction. That's what's happening. There's a rain shadow from the direction of the Camano Island radar site. And so it's not allowing us to see the rain that is falling right here, but there is rain that's falling right here. And there's rain right here too. It's just the radar at Langley Hill is not picking up and not allowing us to get that feedback from the radar because of that rain shadow. Now you see the rain and it's sort of moderate, some pockets of heavy rain. There's some heavy rain here. This is where Snoqualmie Pass is. And let me see, can zoom in and we can see exactly where Snoqualmie Pass is. Right in here. This is Snoqualmie Pass right here. And a lot of times you can't see this here either because of the Cascade Mountains, but it is raining in over Snoqualmie Pass. There is some moderate rain around in here too, as we can see on radar. However, it is just rain. There's no snow here. So if we go over to the Spokane radar, this is all snow for North Idaho and northeastern Washington. You get closer down to Spokane. There was a few sprinkles that came through Spokane and points north of Spokane a little earlier, but that's all it was rain. There may have been a light snow passing snow shower about around the noon hour Pacific time, but it was very short-lived and you had to be above 2,500 to 3,000 feet. So if you were on Mount Spokane, hiking around Mount Spokane, skiing on Mount Spokane, then you probably saw a snow shower, but it was short-lived. And as we look here, I will take us over to another radar vantage point. You see here, this is what I'm talking about. There's some snow that's falling far northeastern Washington, down into North Idaho or over into North Idaho. This is where Lookout Pass is, and I'm sure that they're getting some snow, even though the radar isn't really picking it up. I'm sure they're getting some snow. And Schweitzer Mountain is up around this area, and they are most likely getting some snow too. It's just kind of not super visible because it's farther away from the radar, and the mountains sometimes block that ability for us to see. So that's what's going on with radar around the area currently. And so next I'm going to take us over to, this is the west. And as you can see, this is what is going to be happening most likely. Of course, this is just a forecast and it's always poised to change. And I always come back with updates and changes that happen throughout the week. But this is what, generally speaking, is poised to happen. You can see this pretty good high pressure here right over Colorado. And we see a bunch of red here, and we have these blues and purples over here. This is a pretty good trough that is digging out into the east of the Mississippi, down into the Mid-Atlantic and the Southeast, and down into North and sometimes Central Florida. You all are going to see the colder air, while a high gets amplified in the west, where we're not going to see warm per se, but warmer than what we're used to. And I'll show you the temperatures here in a minute, but I just wanted to highlight this right now. And this currently shows that rain in western Washington with the atmospheric river that is coming in, and they will see another round of rain that will be ending tomorrow, and then it'll start to dry out for a while, up to 10 days or so. We will see some dry air, but again, I say that, and what typically happens is something changes and we get another system or something sneaks in there. So for now, what I'm forecasting is dry weather and maybe even some sunshine, but there's going to be fog. There's going to be low clouds for a lot of, and then if we do get fog and we do get that inversion, what it normally does is it traps that colder air at the surface. And then you go, for instance, you go up into the mountains up above that inversion layer, and it's sunny up there in the mountains, and it's cold and it's a little bit warmer. But you go back down to the surface and it is cold and cloudy and just dreary. So this will continue as we go along in time. This is going to continue. This high pressure stays in place right around the same area. And these systems, this is 10 o'clock tonight, and the rain will continue for western Washington through, this is 4 p.m. tomorrow, and then into overnight Monday into Tuesday. It finally starts to dry out, and that should be the last bit of rain for this area for western Washington for the next little bit. And as you can see, this high pressure has not budged very much over that time frame, and it's going to continue to stay in place with, like I said, that amplification over here in the west, and then that trough over here in the east. Now the trough sort of in the east sort of retreats, and some warmer temperatures begin to migrate back north, but then they get reinforced with colder air later in the week, while we stay over here. We stay in that high pressure zone with stagnant. I'm sure there's going to probably be some air stagnation advisories. There has been some air stagnation advisories for eastern Oregon the past couple days, and I'm sure that's probably going to expand as the week gets going, because it's just, that's just the pattern we're in. So as we keep going forward, this is Tuesday, January 13th, which is my birthday, and the high pressure continues to be in control. 1040 millibars, which is a pretty good high pressure. It has not really budged, and it has not, and you can kind of see where this blue is over here. It sort of digs down. This is, you can't, it's not in the screen, but this colder air digs back down into the east. This is on Wednesday, and that's when the colder air will escape down into the likes of northern and central Florida. So You can see that blue, and they will continue to see snow and lots of it back east. But that's not what this video is about. I will be making other videos, shorter videos about the snow and such over on the East Coast, Central and East Coast, mainly the East Coast, Midwest, Northeast, perhaps a little bit of the Southeast. They may even see some flurries, but this high pressure just stays in control. Look at this. It has not really moved all week long. This is Thursday, and we start to see a little bit of backfilling. This high pressure pops up here over central Montana, and then it goes away. We see this little bit of colder air backing towards the west, but this high pressure is sort of blocking it, keeping it from moving any farther west, and it just stays there. So central and eastern Montana by Thursday, Friday time frame, you'll start to get into a colder pattern. But it's going to be a drier, colder pattern, not an active weather pattern. So this high pressure stays in control. This is through next Saturday, and I'll go out about 10 days. This colder air, and let's see when we start to see a colder pattern come into the Pacific Northwest. This is January 21st. We start to see a little bit of a colder pattern come back into eastern and a little bit of western Washington. This is the 22nd of January. And then by the 23rd, that's when that high pressure that will be in control for about 10 to 12 days, looks like it'll start to break down, and it'll allow for some more systems to come in. So this is going to be very interesting to watch. I will absolutely be updating every single day about the pattern changes, if it's going to break down any sooner. Usually when we have a high pressure that's in control like that, we don't have any wind issues. So I'm not foreseeing any wind issues for the Pacific Northwest, Inland Northwest. California, you are going to be in an offshore wind pattern throughout this time frame too. So you all are going to be able to dry out, clean up, and get back to those sunny conditions that you're so used to, especially in Southern California. So that is what we are looking at for the first, until about the 23rd of January. Not much going on as far as active weather is concerned until about the 23rd, overnight from the 22nd into the 23rd. I, of course, will be back when there are changes, and then I put out updates every single day because you just never know. And then during this time frame, it's going to be colder at night, especially for the Pacific Northwest, in the 20s at night. So if there is any fog around, we tend to have the freezing fog that can kind of stick to the ground and to the roadways and make the black ice. And then there's, the trees kind of get coated with that fog. Then it turns into frozen branches and it looks really pretty, but it can also just be really slick. So we'll probably have that going on a lot over the next 10 days or so. But those are the things that I will be updating everybody on. And this is how it goes sometimes in January. And it looks like we'll be getting back to a more active pattern, but we'll see if that means snow for this area or if we will continue to be in just slightly above normal. I know that the very northeastern part of Washington state into North Idaho, you don't have nearly as much snow as you normally see, but it is definitely been colder up there. So if you're looking to go ice fishing, which that's my husband, he's really anxious and excited to be able to go ice fishing. So hopefully ice will be more abound for people to go ice fishing starting this week and beyond, for this part of Washington state, right up in here in North Idaho and western Montana. And of course, if you're going over here, there's no problem. It's been nice and cold for eastern Montana and into the Dakotas. So anyway, that is the weather outlook for the next 10 to 12 days, where we will be in control the high pressure will be in control of our weather for the most part. And then by the 22nd into the 23rd, that's when the high will start to break down and more active pattern will begin. So that is it for this edition, this video for weather. And again, if you're a subscriber of mine, thank you. Keep sharing out my channel to people all over the country because I do weather for the entire country. I have lived all over the place, so I am familiar with weather patterns in various places all over the country, and it's just my passion. If you're not a subscriber of mine, please subscribe, like, turn on that notification bell, and share. Those are the four YouTube dreams for people and who have channels, especially for me. I'm speaking about me specifically. All right, that is it for now, and I will talk to you later. This is Kate Weatherwise saying bye for now.